Today we are chopping or dicing onions. What we need are our cutting board, an onion, and a good chef's knife. I prefer a hollow blade knife because, as you see, the blade has small cutouts or divots. This helps prevent food from sticking to the blade while chopping. That helps our onions or tomatoes or fleshy fruits and vegetables to fall away from the knife. To begin, we'll take our onion and we need to cut it in half. A lot of people start to chop their onion by cutting in half through the width. This is not what we want to do to properly dice. Instead, we will cut our onion in half lengthwise. An easy way to remember is to think that we are cutting the root directly in half. So we'll take our blade along the length of the onion and chop all the way through. Now that we have our onion chopped in half, instead of having a wobbly hole, we have a stable flat side of the onion to work with safely. It's now time to peel the onion. We want to keep this root intact, so instead we will chop off the opposite end with our knife. Once we do that, we can go ahead and peel back the layers. We want to remove all of these papery layers in preparation for dicing our onion. We don't want any of that in our finished food product. When chopping our onion, we keep our root intact. First of all, we'll take a few cuts through the top of the onion. Our blade will run down perpendicular to the cutting board. Now it's very important to be safe with our blades. We need to keep our fingers out of the way. The easiest thing, remember to keep your hand like a little claw. Curl your fingers up to where they're away from the blade at all times. If they're flat, there's a lot of extra potential for an accident. So keep those fingers curled. You can even use your knuckle as a guide for the blade if needed. Go slow if you're inexperienced in these steps. Go ahead and chop down toward the cutting board. Remember, don't cut into our root. We want to keep that intact. Sometimes when making a few cuts, I turn the onion to where I can keep my fingers safely out of the way. If you can make it to the bottom of the onion without turning, great job. If you were to make a lot of cuts in this direction, you could eliminate the next step. But I want to show you everything, so I'm only going to do a few. Next, we'll make cuts parallel to our cutting board. Remember to keep your fingers out of the way. Now, working with half an onion, 2 cuts here is sufficient. We'll cut inwards, but remember, don't destroy that root. The number of cuts you've made so far will determine how fine or how coarse your onion is chopped. As you see, the onion is in a bunch of different sections. So now, as we chop down through the onion as a whole, it falls apart into our dices. I tend to chop my onion more coarsely because I like very flavorful bites. Our onion is now ready to cook or freeze for future use, or use raw in something as a salad for a lot of flavor. Here at the end, you can see that we still have our root intact. Keeping it intact, by the way, helps eliminate tears as you're cutting. Now we don't want to eat that, so we'll trim all the usable parts of the onion, and then we can just toss the root. Congratulations! You've just efficiently, quickly, and safely diced an onion, and you are ready to start cooking.